How you doing, guys? It felt really bizarre not getting up and go to work this morning. This is actually my first day off I have had in about a year now. I woke up at 2 a.m., the time I normally get up, and I found it difficult to go back to sleep. But I did. It was nice to actually sleep in past sunrise this morning. I haven't done in a very long time. How many of you have had employers that used intimidation as a tactic to get what they wanted? This is a tactic I'm used to. It never worked, for the reason being I was raised by the master of intimidating tactics. See, my current employer does not use intimidation, but he's very sly. And had he used intimidation tactics, it wouldn't have worked, but he doesn't. And he was able to outmaneuver me the better part of this year until I sat back and observed what he was doing. Well, I finally had to jump a few steps ahead of him and put the brakes on it so I could actually get some time back. I'm cutting my hours way back because this past year was just way too much. Now, the tactics of intimidation, I have had more employers that tried to use them, but they never really worked. My father was a master at this. My father was a 250-pound steel worker, very powerful individual. He was very, very abusive, both physically and verbally. Now, over the years, I got used to the physical, but the verbal, to this day, I still have triggers. There are certain things he would say that still to this day set me off, which is why I keep a lot of my triggers to myself. But there are certain things that will still set me off. I never realized just how controlling my entire family was. Now, I was not raised Jehovah's Witness. I didn't even know who Jehovah's Witnesses were till I was probably about 17 or 18. And then I didn't know a whole lot about them. But as I got older, let's face it, we all want to branch off. We all want our own lives. But it didn't seem I could ever do that. Now, my brothers were fine with this. It never seemed to bother them, but I was always considered the black sheep, so be it. But I could never seem to branch off and have my own life. They always seemed to know what I was doing, where I was, and if I was seeing anybody, they would literally tear them apart verbally. And this is why to this day I'm very protective of those that I am going with. And somebody out there should realize this by now. I wanted to move on. I always wanted to get out of the area. I just wanted to go somewhere where I could have my own life. It didn't seem like I was ever able to get one. Now, I was pressured into getting married, and that still didn't get me far enough. My wife, at the time, had an extremely controlling family as well. And they were more involved in my household than I was. And my family and her family did not like each other at all. And unfortunately, they used she and I as proxies in their little battles. Well, obviously, I had gone into it before that marriage failed miserably. And I always wanted to move out of the area, and I said to my wife one day, what would you think about moving? And I meant not down the street or to another town. How about to another state? I was always big on that. I always wanted to venture off somewhere else. Her response was always the same. No, I want to stay here. My family is here. And I'd be like, you're married to me, not to your family. But that was out of the question. She wouldn't go. It was always in the back of my mind to go. Well, obviously, she and I went our separate ways. And over the next year, I realized just how involved my family was still in my business. And I was very young, very inexperienced, so I didn't feel I had a lot of options, and I really didn't know what to do. But I knew I wanted out. And that's exactly what I did, just under the cover of darkness. I'm looking at everything I knew. Now, I didn't know a whole lot else on the outside. And I'm thinking to myself, do I or don't I? But under the cover of darkness, one night, I packed up minimal stuff and I just disappeared. And it was kind of scary at first because I didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to do it. I did not want to go directly to any one location. First I headed west, then I headed south, would stay some places a short period, then move on. And it was about a year and a half before I finally found my current location. And I'm not going to lie, things were very, very tough. Like I said, I was very inexperienced and I left everything I knew. Now, had I stayed, even though it was as controlling as it was, financially, I'd have been sitting pretty. But it was more worth it to me that I gained my freedom. I was not happy growing up. And I could not have been happy staying in that environment. So I left. But do you know how many times I thought, as soon as something got rough, or felt as though I hit rock bottom, how many times I wanted to pack up and go right back. And it always was in the back of my mind that no, things will still be the same. And this I found out for sure when I went back for a visit. And looking around, how many things had actually remained the same told me, no, you can never come back here because your life will never be your own. You will never be happy. Now, my mother was more passive-aggressive with her tactics, and as was the rest of the family. My father and I actually squared away our differences, but I basically told him, no, I'm never coming back here. But within the few weeks that I was there, I realized my self-confidence all of a sudden was going down. Just the things they would say would get under my skin. Like I said, they knew me too well. They knew what tactics to use, and I knew I had to get out of there and never go back, and I haven't been back there since. The reason I mention this is how much my freedom meant to me. Am I happier now than I was there? Yes. Am I better off financially? That's debatable. But this is how much my freedom meant to me. I mention this because a few people had misunderstood what I was saying in my last video. And I was basically saying that as a Jehovah's Witness, the power is within you to walk away. Some of you misunderstood what I said and put words in my mouth that I did not say. I never said it was going to be easy, and I didn't say it would come without collateral damage. Now, anytime you walk away from what you know, there is going to be damage. And there's a big learning process after you leave. But some of you misunderstood what I was saying. And yes, your families are going to be used against you. They are going to hold your families against you to keep you in. But again, what is your freedom worth to you? If you leave and they use your family against you, they're always going to be a weapon. If you can't coerce them into leaving with you, then some of them may have to stay behind. It all depends on how badly you want to get away. But think about what I said, and I still stand behind that as a Jehovah's Witness, if the power is within you to walk away. Whether that be family damage or not, you know what's going to happen. But that's what you're free. If you want your freedom, that's the cost. Freedom always comes at a high price. And this was something I was thinking about during the course of the week as I was reading those comments, and I kind of wanted to get this video out. Anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to mention. And I'm going to enjoy this day off. I'll probably go out for a little while and enjoy the sunshine. If it doesn't rain, I will try to get a hold of you again this sometime during the week. You guys have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.